Alright, we got our StarCraft here. There's got a branch hung up on it, tore it all apart on the edge over here. So we're going to replace the roof. This is a 2017. That's just caulking. I was curious if that was a slice. You can see we got some tape there on it. And then it came all the way down this side here. We're gonna tear it off and get a new roof on her. We've got some tan going on this one. So here's our little StarCraft. We got the roof off, the deck is fine. But there's a brand new coach. There's a 2017. I want to show you some of the stuff that they do to these coaches. This is duct tape. That's what it is. To protect that edge. Duct tape. And up underneath there's a piece of metal for the siding. That's it. All they use. I'm not even pulling on this thing. It's even stuck to my finger. It'll just peel right up. Duct tape. So we're going to be putting some bands on there like we normally do. This is pretty tight, but the reason we put more bands on these than some of the ply foam roofs, you barely see the difference, the elevation difference. Right there, it's got a little lip where it'll catch. So I just want to put a band on there just to make sure. I'm going to also double check this. We're going to let you know on that. I see a screw here. I see a screw over here. The next screw I see if I can bring this back more, stretching my hand out. The next screw is right here. So they've got them stretched out quite a bit. So I'm going to take out a couple of these screws and see. The last one we did on the Zinger, if you go and watch the Zinger video, they did not glue any of that down. So I want to make sure this is all glued down before we put a roof deck down on it, and then we'll refasten it. So that's what they're going to do in a little bit, and we'll keep you updated on all of that. Alright, so this little StarCraft, you can see there's no glue in there. Actually what that is foil. The foil type of insulation. Some people, typically it will work to reflect UV light. However, the foil needs to have a 3/4 inch gap between it. If it's face down in the attic, you want to make sure there's no insulation up against it and it will reflect. But when the foil faces up like that, it does zero. Absolutely zero. So we've got a few screws that I was telling you there, and it looked like there was one here, then one here, and then that one. So they might have been just, oh, I don't know, about 8 inches apart on there. They did have a couple of these staples running down the edge. You typically, when on these trusses, they're real skinny anyways. They're just little 2x2s, and if you start loading them up with screws, you're just going to split them. So that's why they spanned out the screws. So really, in this case, staples are better. But this will pop right up. I didn't take all the screws out. I was just showing you that there's no glue under there. So let's investigate and see how we're going to go about this and get it to sit so we don't have to tamper with that insulation and so forth underneath it. But you can see there's some insulation right in there anyways. So in the other way, I knew there was that it wasn't glued down, because I was able to do this. Well, obviously there's no glue, and then drop my screwdriver. So, but that's how we knew there was no glue in there. Well, keep you posted. Okay, so we're back at our little StarCraft here. What we decided to do, I cut these and I dropped them down. So now I've got that gap that I was telling you about, so it can reflect properly. We're going to put the glue on here and we're going to refasten this thing down. But you can just look in here and see that they had a few screws, obviously for both sides, but we're going to secure it up really well. The other concern, like I said, this is a 2017. So what we got here, some water stains. Well, obviously, and it's still wet and crummy. We put the blower on it for a little bit. We're going to take it up and see if that insulation is wet under there, and if it is, that'll come out and we'll fix all that too. We're just kind of giving you an update of where we're at right now. Alright, so we are back at our little travel trailer here. I wanted to show you, these are all the screws. Now there's probably a few more kicking around. We'll say not more than 10 though of the screws. These are all the screws I used to secure 1, 2, 3, about 4.5 sheets of decking. That's all there was. And you can see there isn't any glue on here, so we're going to put it back together and get it down with this extreme heavy duty liquid nails. Good product. Go up the front here. We got that dried. It's fine. It was just a little wet. We caught it in time, but it had already failed. So this will get dropped down inside. See, here's one more screw. But all we did was cut it. We're going to drop it down inside there like that. It'll have better reflectivity than the way they had it. It doesn't work the way they had it together like that. So we'll keep you posted, and we're getting her together. Okay. We showed this before. We even showed it on the Zinger. Look here. See, there's a piece of metal in there. And that's to protect this wire so you don't put a screw through it. And it's a great idea. However, now there's nothing protecting the conduit, or the Romex here, the insulation from that sharp piece of tubular metal there, the protector. And if you look around here, you can already see it's getting compromised. But they didn't put any there. We're going to show you the fix on that real quick. I come over here to the wall. There's none here either. You can see there how it's getting compromised. So we're going to fix that real quick with these. These just inserts are little bushings that go in there. They're probably about 1/2 cent. We're just gonna fit it in, just like that. Boom, done, it's protected. So we're gonna go around and make sure they're all in there on these. So it's a good thing we did take the deck up. But this is the same situation that we ran across with the Zinger, and I remembered that, and that's why I wanted to check it out. The no glue on here or any adhesive was one of the things I was really aiming to find out, which I did. So we're going to correct all these problems, put it back together. Now there's none under here on these wires, but these are just your regular 12-volt wires. This is the 120 right here, so that's why they put the protector there, so no one gets electrocuted or anything, or short out and cause a real problem. But we'll check her all out and get her fixed right. Alright, this is our StarCraft. We've got this nice tan roof on here. We've got most of it together. So a couple of things we're going to show you. Right in here, that'll turn clear afterwards. We seal every single screw. We do that because there's just a little plastic insert that goes in there. You still get moisture in there. We've noticed a lot of rusty screws from that problem. So that's why we do that. We seal every screw on there. And then this is the plastic cap right here. It's going in. So this just fits in, but it's not sealed. It just sits in there. So that's why we seal those screws up. Everything's all welded. Just have to get the vent screwed down. Got 3 vents on this, no AC. And we made a custom curb boot right there for the antenna. Come out pretty well. The other thing we do here, we haven't done this side yet. We're going to get to it. But we'll end up taking all this butyl off of here so we can get the caulking to sit well. We're going to go over there with 2 layers of caulking. The reason why we do that, right in here, you may be able to see those little air bubbles in there. When the tube comes down the assembly line and they fill it, it's not a sealed system. So if you've ever run a caulking gun, you'll hear an air pop come out of it. So what I don't want to happen is to have an air pocket pop while the coach is in transit, you know, racking and twisting, because they do vibrate, going through construction zones and everything, and campgrounds. So we're going to put 1 layer on, a thin layer, and then we'll put another layer. So the chances of getting 2 air pockets, one over another, it's probably slim to none, but still, that's why we still want to see them come back for inspections. That's really all we look for on our inspections. All this is all welded. It's heat welded in there. That's a 3-inch weld on there, 3-inch weld on this. All of them are all 3-inch welds on there. So You can probably see that on our weld video that we put up. But these are not a bad color, matches real well. There's another tin that was sitting on this coach. It was a rubber roof. Okay, now we're gonna cut. We already put the first layer of caulking right here. You can see the first layer. We get that. Now we're gonna come back. We're gonna cut this tip wider, and we're gonna overlay it. You want just a little more drag on it, maybe. There we go. And we've already got this one set in here. Okay, there's our finished StarCraft. We got all the double layer of caulking on the side. And this is what it looks like. Nice tan color. Made this special curb. I think that came out pretty well. The base was round, so we wanted to put a round curb on it so it looked like it belonged. Everything's all sealed up, looking good.